What I wanted to do today was take you through a little bit more of an in-depth video about wheel cleaning and my sort of favourite products and processes to do this. Now I've got this pretty dirty Audi in to demonstrate, so the first thing that I like to do at the start of the process is pre-wash the wheels, and the reason for doing this is exactly the same as it would be when pre-washing the paintwork, and it's to get as much of that dirt and grime off as possible so that you're not rubbing it around on the finish and potentially causing more scratches and swirl marks. Brake dust is a very abrasive substance, so if you can get a lot of that off beforehand, then that's definitely going to help with the overall finish. So there are a few options that I can use to pre-wash the wheels. Sometimes I'll use a wheel cleaner to do this, but one of my favourite products is Green Star APC diluted to 10%. I find that this product is very effective and also just really economical. It costs about £6 for a litre of this stuff, and you don't need that much per wheel. What I also like about using this product is that I can use it on the arches as well, and it does a very good job on that area. So to speed up the process, what I often do is apply the pre-wash directly to the wheel when it's dry, then rinse out the arches, trying not to get the wheel wet so that it rinses any of that product off, and then go in again with that APC and give the arches a proper scrub. So that gives the APC enough time to actually dwell on there and work without me sort of stood around waiting for something to do. And when I'm cleaning the arches, my favourite tool to do this is the Easy Go brush, as it works great for carpeted and plastic wheel arches and really allows you to get to the back of the arch. So just rinsing the wheel, of course, will remove quite a lot of the surface brake dust that's on there. However, I do find that using a chemical is beneficial. You can see here the difference between rinsing alone and rinsing with that pre-wash, and it definitely does remove some more of that grime. So once I've done this, I then move on to actually contact cleaning the wheels and tyres. Now there are of course so many different products out there you can use, different formulations, different types of cleaners. But one of my favourite types of cleaners to use is an all-in-one wheel and tyre cleaner. Now I know a lot of wheel cleaners, even if they don't directly advertise it, do still work on tyres. However, I've found that the one I'm using today is particularly effective on both areas. So I'm using High Definition Details Braking Point, and this is a product that they sent down to review a little while ago, and I've been using it quite a lot recently and it's become one of my favourites. What I like about this is that it's very potent, so it does work very effectively on tyres, and I find that you do need quite a powerful chemical to do that, as the tyres are quite porous, so you really need something strong to be able to draw out all that grime. This stuff also can be diluted. I don't tend to dilute it on the tyres as I do need that strength there, but for maintenance, diluting it to around 1 in 5 I find is a good sweet spot, while still keeping it nice and foamy and lubricated, but improving that value for money. Today, however, I will be using it neat on both the alloys and the tyres, as this car was particularly dirty. So the tools that I'm using in this part of the process are firstly the Inter-Detailing tyre brush. It's quite a stiff tyre brush, so it does allow you to really sort of give the tyres a proper scrub. So I'm also using a Wheel Mitt for the vast majority of the wheel face, and this is my preferred option as opposed to using a brush. There are a couple of reasons why I don't like using a brush as much. Firstly, my hand can cramp up if I'm cleaning particularly large wheels, and also I don't feel like it's as safe an option as using a microfiber mitt. The same way that I wouldn't contact clean my car with a brush, I'd prefer to use a mitt on the wheels as well. The only area where I prefer to use a detail brush instead is around the wheel nuts, as of course this is more intricate. So the one that I use quite frequently is the Garage Therapy Wheel Mitt. I also have a lamb's wool wheel mitt from Autobrite, which I just use on my own car. I don't like using this on really dirty wheels, as it only can be hand washed and not machine washed. So to clean the barrels, again, loads of different options out there, but two of my favourites are the Easy Brush. Now this has nylon bristles, which are softer than you'd probably expect if you haven't used one of these before, but they really are good for fitting into tight areas and scrubbing particularly dirty wheels without being overly aggressive. I also really like the Mammoth Woolly Wheel Wand, which is a nightmare to say, and that's something that I use on my own car. This is a lot softer, so I do prefer it for more delicate finishes. However, it's not great for really dirty wheels because it just doesn't really have that scrubbing power. So once I cleaned this wheel, what I wanted to do was use an iron fallout remover. Now you might be wondering at this point why I didn't use a wheel cleaner that has a built-in iron fallout remover to save me some time here, and this is because I typically do treat these processes as separate. On this occasion where I am using an iron fallout remover, of course I could have just combined those steps and that would have been fine, but on most wheels I typically won't use that kind of product, and there are a few reasons why. Firstly, because they can be more expensive than traditional wheel cleaners, and they are ready to use. You can't dilute them to make them more economical, like you could with the wheel cleaner that I was using today. And also because it is quite an aggressive approach. Now a lot of these wheel cleaners are pH neutral, however when they actually react with the brake dust they do turn acidic, which I just don't feel like is necessary every time I clean the wheel, and I prefer to take a little bit more of a milder approach. Now at this point I felt like the wheels were very clean and I was very happy with it. However, if I noticed any sort of really baked on brake dust that really just wasn't being shifted by any of the chemicals that I was using, I would then use an acidic wheel cleaner. Now I didn't have to do this today, however I did do this on this vehicle about last year, using KKD's Devil Juice, which is a very powerful cleaner. Now I don't like to do this that often because I do feel like it's again a very aggressive approach and I can usually get away with using my other cleaners. So I really just bring out this chemical when absolutely necessary. Another step that you might have seen me do in some of my more recent videos is use a 5% mixture of Built Amber Atom Mark in distilled water and spray that on the brake discs after cleaning the wheels, and this just helps to stop them going orange throughout the wash process. So once the wheels are clean and I'm happy with them, I then like to add some protection, and my favourite kind of product to do this is a spray and rinse sealant. Now the one that I'm using today is Stjarnagloss Glatt. There are many other effective ones on the market too, such as Autoglam's Prism and Gion Wet Coat. From my experience on a daily driven vehicle, these last around a month, so I typically top them up every couple of washes. Another benefit of using this type of product is that it makes drying a lot easier. Now my favourite tool to dry the wheels and the tyres off is my Blow Air RS car dryer. Not only does it avoid any water spots on the alloys, but it also is great for drying tyres because you don't get any trapped water that might not be picked up by using a microfiber towel that can show itself when you're trying to dress the tyres and end up creating a little bit more of a mess. So this is just a single approach to cleaning wheels, and my approach does change depending on what car I've actually got in. There are many different types of sort of processes and techniques, and if you've seen me clean my own car's wheels, you'll know that I actually take quite a different approach and instead use a wheel shampoo, as I find that this is just a milder approach. My wheels are also ceramic coated, which again just helps to make maintenance easier. So if you want to see that process in action, I will pop a link to a video where I show that in the description. All the products that I've mentioned in this video will be linked in the description too. If you have found this video helpful, it'd be brilliant if you could give it a like, and thanks for watching.